Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 665 of the DrunkNerds podcast. I'm your host. I can't talk. I'm your host. I had a burp there, and I was trying to work through it. Gables didn't work. Anyways, I'm your host as always. I am Tyler, and joining me we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I mean, things could have been better for me this week. I most recently went through an MRI,
No.
and yeah, it's going to be a little bit of seriousness for a little moment here. And I ended up discovering that the reason why that my arm was hurting as much as it was when I hurt myself at work is because the ulnar tendon that's right inside my left arm was completely severed.
Ooh.
So that thing, I need to have surgery basically. So I have to go to the University of Washington, which I've never traveled by myself, like or on my own to Seattle before, and try to get this thing all operated on, right? Because this is the kind of injury to where if they would have been able to, do their job and diagnose the damn thing when I got hurt, they could have easily have done the surgery, went in, open up, sutured the tendon back into where it was supposed to be, and I would have, been on like this. I would have been recovering for about a year and doing some bit of physical therapy, right?
Mm.
But because it had been like close to 2 months because of LNI and like my hospital trying to coordinate and try to wait for a freaking MRI appointment, I basically had to wait 2 months and stuff after the injury just to get an MRI and get everything else all checked. So now the thing is starting to heal, and I have a ball of a tendon somewhere inside my arm to where I saw the MRI like shots of it, and it's like there's little bits of scar tissue and this and that to the point where the surgeon inside the hospital did not want to go and do the operation on me because the fact that it's a little bit more complicated to try to get that tendon because now we're talking about potentially like grafting of
Mm.
like one stuff from one tendon to another tendon and stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much one of the reasons why that I've been having to wear a sling and stuff over the past month and a half. But yeah, that was a big old pain in the ass that I went through, and this was back around Monday and Wednesday of this past
Damn.
week. But other than that, though, work stuff's been it's been all right and stuff. Kind of had a scare during this past weekend and stuff to where we only had like maybe a couple of workers or something like that for like Friday and stuff. There's like maybe like three of us to run like the damn store. But other than that, though, there is a positive note. So from all the seriousness and everything else, there are some positives to this. When I was doing the whole like physician's assistant sort of like appointment to do the follow up to the studies of MRI and stuff, it felt like from doing a lot of the different tests and stuff, I still am able to use my left arm to such an extent. It's just like maybe not 30% of it I can't really use. So it's
Yeah.
like I can't really like say lift more than a certain amount of weight. Like I can actually move around my arm. I could do any type of like twisting bits of motion and stuff. But if I try to lift something, like say like my small dog or something, my left arm, like after about a few minutes and stuff, it starts getting painful and
Yeah.
stuff. So it's like I have to set them down. But on a side note, the best thing that happened this week is I actually pre-ordered a Switch 2.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'll tell you how I did this.
Well, let's save that, Gables. That's gonna be our first topic of the show.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, enough about me. Tyler, how have you been doing this week?
I guess better than you. I'm sorry, man. Not to laugh at you, but I'm sorry that I mean that does that's I mean honestly that does suck. I mean, obviously
Yeah.
I just came back from not but same thing, but my ankle basically. Yeah,
Yeah.
same thing. Waited 6 weeks to get MRI. Took 10 weeks to get surgery, and something that I could have been back to work in 10 to 12 weeks, and I was off for 6 months. Sounds like you're gonna I mean you've been working, but sounds like you're basically gonna have to go through the same thing. And then it's a year long recovery post surgery, and yeah, so it sounds like man, it was just a rough run of luck for us from health situation wise, I guess. I
Dude, you hit the nail on the head, though. I mean, for God's sake, this is what happened to you with your leg, and all of a sudden this happens to me and my arm, and we both have similar, like, freaking injuries and all this other
mm,
shit in recovery time.
yeah.
Oh,
So
God.
man, sucks getting old, man. should just it's not, they don't.
Who
Or
would have
probably just
known?
aren't.
You try to lift a fucking piece of furniture, and all of a sudden just leaves to me tearing something. I mean,
Yeah,
fuck.
I rolled my ankles walking down the stairs. So I mean, like, something I did a million times when I was a teenager in my early 20s playing basketball, and I do it walking down the stairs and
Yeah,
destroy my
and
ankle.
plus, basically tore my tendon just fucking trying to lift a couch.
Yeah, man, we're just getting too old for this shit, you know. God damn, fuck. Never felt so old.
Oh god.
Jesus Christ, this is like the old man's podcast. Oh my god, I'm just gonna dye my hair gray for next week's show. It's gonna fuck it. I'm just gonna like de-age myself. I'm gonna do like the anti Tom Brady. Just gonna like I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna look at I'm gonna come in next week looking like what Tom Brady should actually look like right now. So it's not gonna be great. It's not gonna be pretty people. Yeah, but no, I guess I'm doing all right. It's hard to like say anything coming off of that one. I that sucks, man. But
Right.
anyways, normally this is a good news show, good time show. But yeah, I mean, shit happen. You know, it's a shitty things happen sometimes, I guess. But no.
Yeah.
Anyways, this is the DrunkNerds podcast. Gables and I get together every week, talk about video games, everything we love about them. But yeah, if you guys like the show, like what we're doing, please. We've been doing this for almost 12 years now.
Yep.
You know, we're on YouTube. We do have we have the YouTube partnership thing where you can subscribe to us, become a member for as low as $1 a month. You know, and you know, just help us out that way. That's like the only real way to directly give us money. We don't have a Patreon. Honestly, the best thing you could do is if you could like the show, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, Apple Podcast, Spotify, wherever podcasts are on. Just go to those places, leave reviews, comments if you can, subscribes, whatever you could do. We really appreciate it. There are links down below in the show notes to get you those places quicker. But yeah, we really appreciate it if we get there. But Gables, you mentioned it already. You know, I didn't want to. I didn't want. You know, I wanted to kind of save this because Wednesday night was a pretty crazy night
Yes.
for trying to get a Switch 2. Yeah, so you and I both. You're West Coast, so you had it probably a lot better than everybody else as far as like at least it was only 9 p.m. your time. It was 11 o'clock my time. Trying to do this thing, but yeah, you got a Switch, Gables.
Yes.
I also got a Switch. In fact, I was able to get 3 Switches. So yeah, I feel, I don't know. It's like one of those things where like it sucks where it's like I feel bad for doing that because I know there's people out there that want to get one. I'm not trying to scalp them. I got one for myself, and then I was like I got a backup one just because I kept seeing people saying theirs got canceled, and then I pre-ordered another one just out of happenstance, and I do have ads. I haven't taken money from anybody because I want to make sure they get sent and everything like that. But I do have those Switches like in play to go to somebody else. So like I'm gonna sell them at price. You know, I'm not gonna like make a profit. If I have to make a profit, it's gonna be $10 probably off this thing. Yeah, so I'm not trying to make money off of this. I'm just I'm just trying to make sure I got them. But yeah, so Gables, I mean, what a fucking disaster this whole thing was. I was up to like 1:30 in the morning with all this shit. It was a disaster. I had to be up at 5:45. It was not fun. It was a rough stretch there. But yeah, I mean, I think you and I both basically at the same time got online. What was wild is like 11 p.m. my time was supposed to start. I was like I had my phone in my hand. I was sitting on my computer here. I had on my big monitor here. I had Walmart. I had both different versions you can buy of the Switch, like the bundled Mario Kart one and the non-bundled one, pages open, and then I had Target open, and then on the other monitor I had Best Buy open with I had the 2 main versions you could buy, and then Best Buy had a bunch of different like bundles versions, like bundled with games and stuff that you can get. And I had 2 of those, so I had 4 different tabs open for Best Buy. I had 4 tabs open over here, 2 for Target, 2 for Walmart. On this monitor, and then I had my phone in my hand with all 3 apps open for those stores, and just massively refreshing. Walmart for some reason went live early at like 10:50, like 2 minutes early, and I got in line like 2 minutes before it was supposed to go up for both different ones. Best Buy for some reason like was wild. Like it kept saying, "Hey, at 12:01 Eastern time, it will go live." And it didn't go live on Best Buy for almost 40 minutes after it was supposed to go up. But I mean, Gables. I mean, so what was your process? How were you going in with this thing?
Okay, so now picture this and stuff. You send me the links and stuff for the Best Buy bundles and this and that and stuff, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, I could try it that way, but I want to. I'm just gonna give it a shot here. I'm just gonna use the Walmart app. And so I used the Walmart app. So I had the thing on like 10 minutes before the initial 9 o'clock. And then once it did get to 9 o'clock, I refreshed the app. Like I closed it and opened it back up and get over there. And then I pretty much logged into an online queue, like pretty much like for close to an hour. Now, what's funny about that is during the same time, I'm like, okay, there's got to be people streaming themselves trying to get this damn thing. So let's see what's going on. So I turn on Twitch and then I go to one Twitch streamer who has made his pretty much his whole like his brand and stuff and like his YouTube page all big and stuff because of all the Switch content that he had put out. He's called Beat 'em Ups, right?
Mm. I think you're gonna say
And
Field Nation.
the thing about it was he was streaming himself trying to just do the same thing that you were doing, right? So he had things with Best Buy, things with Target, things with like Walmart and stuff like that. At one point he had like a Switch 2 pre-order through Target, but him alongside a lot of the other viewers and stuff that were trying that site, all of them got their card declined
Mm-hmm.
because there was some sort of glitch that was happening with Target to where the banks were thinking that like fraudulent activity were going on. But as far as how I went and stuff, I stayed on this online queue for like close to about an hour. So from a little bit after 9 o'clock all the way up to like close to 10 o'clock. And then after that, I mean, I didn't get any like error messages. I didn't get any type of like crazy like Robo Kappa sort of stuff. The pre-order button, it all of a sudden just started lighting up. Like, oh, okay, pre-order. I tried it the first time. It kind of like froze a little bit and stuff. And then when it came back again and stuff, I did it and I was able to pre-order that Switch 2. And I was looking at it constantly afterwards and stuff because I wanted to make sure that this was not like say a mistake because
Mm.
it could have easily have been canceled.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I'm still having like freaking like I'm still having like sort of like fears or some of this thing's gonna be canceled or something the next week or two because
Yeah.
of the whole rigmarole shit because of what happened with the Switch and everything else. You know, the PS5 launch was worse in terms of like
Yeah.
people getting things and people trying pre-ordering things and stuff. What I liked what some of these retailers did, they made sure that it was similar to what Sony did when they released the PS5s through their site, online queues. And that way people were not just rushing and just like overloading a DDoS sort of thing on the initial website or just everybody all at once just mass ordered it and all of a sudden nobody had a chance to get a
Yeah.
shot of it.
Basically, what
It
happened to
felt
GameStop
like
and Target.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And from another thing that I noticed after I pre-ordered mine, I started checking how everyone else was trying to get theirs. And it seems like retailers were incredibly smart in terms of dishing out some of these Switch 2 pre-orders because it felt like a lot of batches were going out, not just around the time that the midnight or like 9 p.m. my time and stuff like that through that initial hour or two, but even like towards the next day because there were aspects to where Walmart would randomly go live and stuff with some pre-orders, Best Buy would randomly or something. Even like say with GameStop, and and you know what with the GameStop, this is pretty funny though, but not since I don't think not since like the PS5 or whatsoever, where you had like people actually waiting outside a line of GameStop in order for a console release. And I didn't have any friends that actually did that because the GameStop that I had in my town closed like literally like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So the closest one would literally be like about 3 hours away.
Yeah. So you're
But
SOL.
what I ended up pre-ordering though is I got the bundle. So
Nice.
I got the Switch system alongside Mario Kart World, $500. I ended up paying a little bit over that with the state tax because of how high a percentage the damn state tax is. And yeah, it should be on its way. It should be on its way fairly soon. Obviously, June 5th is what they cite it as. So if it comes out and we get it at launch, that would be a miracle. If it comes sooner, that would be awesome too.
Nintendo will show up with the lawyers and kick your door down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the last time I actually had a Nintendo system before launch was the 3DS when it first released. I had that system like 3 days before release in the retailers because I went to a random Coast Guard base in my area and they had two of them in stock.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah, that's the funniest thing about it. Way back in 2011, I actually scored on a Nintendo system like before it actually officially launched because the freaking the freaking like a Coast Guard banger and stuff like that had the fucking the system in stock. And oh my god, I was so excited. And once that initial thing launched, I just got the first game I ended up buying for that damn thing is such a Gables thing to buy, but at the same time, it was
Can
the
can I,
only thing good and available.
can I guess it?
Yeah,
Street Fighter 4.
yep, absolutely. That's the thing. I loved playing Street Fighter 4. I loved playing on PS3, the fucking 360, and I wanted to try it out in the 3DS. And you know what? Yeah, there were some aspects of it that were very terrible, but then again, that's something completely separate. But what I'm happy about is I pre-ordered the Switch 2. I'm having a chance to play Mario Kart World fairly soon. And yeah, hopefully everything else all goes all
Yeah.
goes all correct with that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it was a disaster. I had like, so like 11 o'clock goes live. I go on Target and me 11:01. I have it in my cart at Target, the bundle, the $500 bundle. And I'm like, all right,
Hmm.
awesome. Like, fuck yeah. I go, I went through before then. I made sure on Walmart, Best Buy, and Target, I already have accounts with them. Made sure my credit confirmation, everything was good to go. So all I had to do was hit the place order button. So I had to worry about that shit. And literally, it was me on my app and on the computer for 40 minutes, just hitting the place order button over and over again. And like, I got the first time I got like the fraud alert thing. I said, yes, it's me. It said, all right,
Hmm.
replace the order. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then it was literally just like me for 40 minutes, just like hitting place order, place order. I was on the app, on Target app, doing the same thing. And like randomly
Yes.
I'd have to go in like, and every time it would change. Like sometimes I got to put my credit confirmation in again, or sometimes I put my address again, but didn't have like the autofill in there. So I had to like hand type everything in over and over again on this, and it kept failing, like all that. And I was just like, what the fuck? And after like 40 something minutes of this, it finally I went like after like of me trying to this frantically hitting these buttons over and over again, the place order, or filling out my address 100 for the 100th time. It loaded and my cart was just empty. And I was reading
Oh.
like, and I wasn't really on like Blue Sky or anything too much during this because I was like, I had all my devices in front of me and I didn't want to be distracted because I was just trying to get these things. Like I had my other two apps, I had the two Walmart tabs open, in line, so I didn't want to leave those. So I kept constantly while I was doing this, I was constantly refreshing on my other page all four tabs of Best Buy, waiting for that to finally come up, and I was like, it kept saying coming soon. I'm like, oh my god, did they already go? Did they already sell them all out already? So I'm like thinking like Target's my only hope here. As it's like 11:30, I'm like Walmart's gone. There's no chance I'm getting Walmart. So I'm like, fuck, this sucks. And um, so I was like, did have a Discord open, and I kind of looked over, and I was seeing like I did eventually see like a lot of people. Basically, everybody. This happened to everybody on Target. Basically at like 1 minute afterwards, like shit the bed. Like it just
Hmm.
it was like down to me. Like basically everybody was having this. Some people were like getting like saying the order was canceled before they got the like they got the email saying the order was canceled before they got the email saying it was confirmed. So people were
Huh.
confused about like did my order get canceled or is that confirmed? They couldn't figure it. Like they were like, confused about like that whole process. Um, so like I never got any of that. It just got nothing out of that one. And then finally I did when Best Buy went up like 11:35, 11:40 ish or whatever. Um, I found I got into the lines for all four of the bundles. I had the two main versions of the Switch you can buy. There was a bundle that came with a physical edition. It was Nintendo Switch with a physical edition of Mario Kart World for $530, plus tax. And then there was another bundle that was I didn't really want this one, but it was the Mario Kart Switch 2 bundle with the SD Express card for $560
Hmm.
because I don't really have any interest in buying SD card for a while because these games are not going to take up a lot of room, and I'm not planning on buying a million games for the Switch right away. So I figure I'll probably be fine with the 256 gigabytes for a while. So I was like, I probably won't need one. I like my SD card of my Switch. I never put a single thing on it, and I bought that thing with my Switch. So so if you're talking over 8 years, I never put a single thing on it. But anyways, I I was in the line for all those, and after like 3 minutes of being in the line, I finally got into it, like the one page with the physical edition of Mario Kart. Like I was like, what the fuck? It took me back to like the sign in screen. I'm like, oh my! They kicked me out of line. So I like logged back into my account, and it took me right to the pre-order page. Pre-ordered it. I got another fraud alert from my credit card, and I'm like, oh no, did it fuck up again? And I said yes. I had to reattempt it. Went right through. I ordered that one. Literally 3 minutes after that, I got the Mario Kart physical edition bundle. So a little bit more. I'm talking basically. I bought the main game, just the Switch with the game separately. The other bundle I wanted to get, the one I was actually looking at getting was just like there's a Donkey Kong Mario Kart bundle. It was like $570 or whatever, but I couldn't find confirmation if that thing. Some people were saying that like it would ship on day one with Mario Kart, and then like it was the Mario Kart bundle, and then they would ship you Donkey Kong when it comes out in July. But then the other people were saying no, you won't get it until Donkey Kong comes out, and they'll ship it to you all together. So I was like, I don't want to play that. I don't want to have to worry about that. So I didn't bother going for it. But anyways, so I got that one. I'm like, fuck yeah. And then I was looking, I'm like, the other ones I never got. I was in the queue forever for like, I didn't close out of them right away. And I couldn't buy one anyways, because you can only buy one, that's perfectly fine. That's the way it should be. So I got that, but then I just left the other ones open just to see if they went through and what happened. Because I was still, me and my best friend Justin were texting back and forth, and he hadn't gotten his yet. So I was like, I told him like we had an agreement, like if one of us can get one for the other person, do that, and we'll pay each other back or whatever. And so I was still trying to get him one on Walmart, and I was seeing people on Discord talking like people like me that like literally been sitting in the queue before 11 p.m. before these things went up for pre-order. I was in line for these things, and I was still waiting in line. And people were saying, open up another tab, go to Walmart, and click on like the Switch 2, and you'll get right in. So I opened up another tab for Walmart, and I went in to the Walmart, clicked on the Switch 2 bundle, got right in, pre-ordered, bought it, no problem.
Nice.
And my other ones were still in line. So then I told my Justin about it, because he was in line forever, and I think he ended up doing the same thing, and that's how he got his. And then I went in again, and I did the non-Switch, the non-Mario Kart bundle. Did the exact same thing and bought that bundle. So I got 2 from Walmart and 1 from Best Buy.
Wow.
So I'm assuming one of the Walmart, Justin did the same thing. He got the bundle and the non-bundle version. I believe so. I'm curious. I'm expecting one will get canceled, which is fine. If I could just get, honestly, if they cancel both, if I could just get one of these 3, I'll call it, like, that's all I care about. Preferably if I could just get the $500 one, because that'd be the best for me personally, money wise. I'm looking at my credit card account, my credit card statement right now, and it's not looking great though, Gables. It's almost like $1,700 in charges I put on it in like 1 hour, so not great. But yeah, I was up till like, and then it was like the anxiety and the frustration and everything like that of this whole process, that I finally went to bed, went and laid down like 12:30, and I was just like so frustrated, and like just like anxiety, constantly checking my phone to make sure, because I didn't get the Walmart emails right away. I got the Best Buy one right away, confirming it, but I didn't get the Walmart ones for a while, and I was texting Justin, stuff like that. We're going back and forth, and then like talking to some other people, and just like everything, it was like it took me like a good like 40 minutes to like come down, and like I didn't go to sleep till like 1:30, so it was a rough day. But yeah, the whole process was frustrating. But yeah, I got 3 now, I guess. So like I said, I'm not like, hey, don't get mad at me. I'm not trying to. This is not me trying to be an asshole. I'm like, I'm gonna sell these for $800 on eBay. That's not what I'm trying to do here. I just want to get my Switch 2. My plan was to get 2, and then I got a third one, just to be safe, I guess. I don't know. But anyways, I'm selling. If I get all 3, the other 2 are being sold at cost, for what I paid plus tax. So yeah, that is the plan. But yeah, it was a very frustrating process. But Gables, I am happy that as of right now, knock on wood. Gables, are you knocking on wood?
Yep.
Thank you. Knock on wood. Thank you. If you're listening, knock on wood. that our Switch 2s arrive on June 5th or before. On or before June 5th is the goal. I seen the Walmart is guaranteeing 9 a.m. delivery on June 5th, Gables. And if that isn't in fact the case, Gables, I'm thinking I might be sick on June 5th. So, or actually, you know what? Better yet, June 6th, because I might be up late on June 5th being sick. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, though, yeah, it's just, man, that's the first time I've had to do this with the online. I remember like, it's crazy because I remember like the PS5. I remember, I told the story on here before about the PS5. Like that one was like frustrating because like there was like no warning. Like everybody's like, it was like right after that, the press conference they had for the PS5 reveal, the whole blowout thing. It's like they were just randomly going live on different sites everywhere. And I just heard on someone was like talking about like doing like a post show thing on the press conference. And they just mentioned, I think it was kind of funny. I was listening to, and someone in the chat said, GameStop's in-store is doing pre-orders right now. And I just drove like a madman up to like going way past the speed limit to get to GameStop as fast as I could. And I literally got the last PS5, the pre-order from them. I was hearing a lot of people though that went to in-store GameStops. They actually had a ton. And a lot of them, people were going and like they got there like hours early. And some of them didn't have a lot of people online. So
that's good.
Yeah. So, and like, there's only $50 down. Like there's some places like they had like, 50 or 60 of them. And like by when the store opened up, there was only like, 15, 20 people in line. So, and I heard some places, there was more, but yeah, like I heard a lot of places there wasn't a lot. So that's cool. Hopefully, it seems like for the most part, if you really tried hard to get one, you probably got one. So, which is good. As frustrating as it could be, and like you just stuck with it, you eventually got one. But
absolutely, yeah, that's kind of the same thing that happened with me. Is like I just remained firm and adamant. I just stayed on the freaking Walmart app for about an hour and stuff, and I eventually got it.
Yeah, I remember like when the Switch pre-order happened, like they did that press conference in Japan, and it didn't get over until like 11 o'clock here, and I went to bed, and then like while I was sleeping, all the pre-orders went live. And I woke up in the morning. I had to get up like at that point. I was getting up like 4:30 in the morning, and I just went on the GameStop app, and it was there to pre-order. And I just pre-ordered it like 3 hours after the pre-orders went up, and it was like no problem. And I was like, at that point, I was like, do I even want this thing? I don't even know if I wanted it. And like I got it, and then obviously, it turned out to be like one of the coolest consoles ever. But yeah. Oh man, that was frustrating, Gables. I can't believe in 2025 we're still here with that stuff. I hope to God. When we get to the PS6 and whatever the next Xbox is, I doubt it at this point, but I'm hoping it's better. It's like, hopefully, yeah. Oh my God. But yeah. Anyways, Gables, anything you want to say before we move on though?
No, man, I'm good.
All right. Well, let's move on here, Gables. Let's go with some non-Nintendo topics here. So we also on Wednesday just got a shadow drop with a 3-minute trailer for Ghost of Yotei. And it is coming October 2nd. It's kind of surprising that they just dropped this trailer with the release date. We got like a nice long trailer for this one. A lot of like kind of showing you overall the main story. Atsu, I think how you say her name. It's it takes place 1603. It's more than 300 years after the events of Ghost of Tsushima. So no Jinsakai in this game, obviously, or there's gonna be some weird voodoo shit that I don't know about in the world of the Ghost games. But yeah, it's a story of revenge where like they try these 6 like samurai try to kill her, and more open world. Mount Yotei is where it's supposed to take place. Looks like you have like a wolf almost as like a sidekick maybe, or like he's like part like kind of like you had like the foxes and stuff in the first game where like they would kind of like help you along your journey and stuff. Like that's gonna be the case for this one with maybe the wolf. But like we showed off some more like maybe some different weapons. Like one of the weapons is like it's like the has like the chain with like the fucking like knife at the end of it, kind of almost like the fucking scorpion like thing that shoots out of his arm. It'd be cool if we have some more weapons like that. And then also they said like you can go and like you can fight all these like there's like I believe there was 6 different samurai, and you can take them down in any order, which is pretty interesting. So I do yeah, I'm curious how it's gonna work out. Sometimes I don't know if I like that stuff as much. Or like I'd rather just be a straight, like have all the open world stuff. That's fine, but have like a story that progresses the way it's supposed to go. I'm wondering if there's gonna be like a kind of like some games you see that where it's like you can do it in any order, but really there's a way you should probably actually do it. Like the levels go up higher and higher if you go to these areas. So really you should probably just do it this way. But I don't know. I just completely blown away by like the visuals of this game. Looks absolutely stunning and gorgeous. The music was awesome. I am totally on board. I really liked Ghost of Tsushima. I definitely I've talked about the time I went like really hard in the beginning. Like I 100% of that first island, and I think I 100% the second island. And then by the time the third island, I got to the third island. I'm like, I just want to beat this game. I kind of burnt myself out on it. But I still liked it. And at Gables, I was kind of looking back at it. Like I had number 7. It was overall our game of the year in 2020. I had it 7th.
Yep.
You had it 2nd for Ghost of Tsushima. So
Yes.
I'm curious. Ghost of Yotei. How excited are you for this one?
I am fairly excited to play Ghost of Yotei and stuff. I mean, I will be perfectly honest with you. I didn't realize though that this is going to be one of those things where you just go on the map and stuff, and like you can either choose one of the 6 like Bear Samurai you're going to go and chase after, pretty much. When you think about it, I mean, that's sort of similar in aspect to some like open world things that certain Ubisoft games have done.
Yeah.
So I'm not really too sure if I like it that way, because I'm kind of more like a traditional sort of, okay, this is one story moment after this story moment and stuff, and then there's like a linear path that you can actually do that type of story stuff. But I don't know. Maybe there's going to be something different that I'll like about it.
Yeah.
But visual stuff, I mean, I know it looks freaking fantastic. Gameplay stuff, I'm not too concerned about. But yeah, I'm really excited. I'm wanting to see how this game's going to progress further, and like how good this is going to be, well, like received and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I think every gaming podcast is legally obligated to, whenever a big AAA game gets a release date, we have to talk about GTA 6 and what does this mean for GTA 6. It's time to theorize about that, Gables. I think a lot of people are like, if you look at the release calendar for the rest of the year for the bigger games, I mean, like you look at pretty much from here on out, it's pretty stacked. Like I was talking about a little bit last week about like May we have Doom. And there's Elden Ring, and then there's that Lost Soul Sides. Sure, there's a couple other games that I'm forgetting as well. But like June is like we have the Switch, we have Mind's Eye is in there, Death Stranding 2 is in there. There's a couple other bigger games in there as well. I can't remember. Like July has Tony Hawk, Donkey Kong, college football's in there, which is always gonna be the case. I think August there's a few games. There's Mafia, which is a 2K game or Take-Two game. And then in September, we have a Take-Two game in Borderlands 4. And then, October now we have, and then also there's Marathon in September. I think the same day as Borderlands 4. And then in October, we have Ghost of Yotei. So I'm wondering if maybe, like, I don't know, like, I wonder if, like, obviously, like, I'm sure these companies, it's kind of like we've been watching all the NFL draft stuff. Like, everybody doesn't know 100% sure what's going on, but they right. have to have some inside information or some idea of like what the other places are doing. So I wonder if this tells, like, I think if you're looking at like what a lot of these studios are doing right now, looks like they're clearing the path for November. So like I'm thinking a lot of people are thinking either this thing's hitting in November or it's not coming this year. So which is funny because we saw the same thing with Red Dead Redemption 2, where that's the same exact thing where everybody cleared the path. Because I think it was like late October or November or whatever it was, where even like Call of Duty moved up a month to get away from Red Dead Redemption 2. So I wouldn't be shocked if Call of Duty comes out in like mid-October or September even to get away from it. So I don't know, Gables. Do you think maybe we're all reading it, maybe people are reading too much into this, or do you think maybe this is like this is the date they had and they're gonna go with it?
Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if they do go the route of like say release in October or maybe in the early November and stuff, in order to like, just to go through and like just get it done, get it over with and stuff like that with GTA 6. If people in the know, have the rumblings and we're seeing this obvious sort of thing where everyone's kind of like migrating outside of that initial picture, then it's a good solid chance that that game is releasing during that time period this year. So with that being stated, I kind of feel like this is going to be like one of those late November style of releases, like maybe the last week of October or like maybe the middle of October. It's kind of hard to gauge though, but what I am saying is it's like I don't think a lot of people are blowing smoke about it. I think there's something legitimate that's going on with this GTA 6 release date.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be crazy. Is like usually the fall season there's a ton of games I want to play already, but usually there's like a little bit like there's gaps in between it. And this year I'm like, man, I'm thinking like, I mean, obviously we don't know how much more is coming. We still have Summer Game Fest in like about, my God, like 5-6 weeks away.
Yep.
But I'm like thinking like, okay, we still have Outer Worlds 2 coming this year. Pokemon doesn't have a date yet.
Right.
I'm wondering if there's anything else from Nintendo that's gonna be coming later this year than what we already know about. Like Metroid doesn't have a date yet. Kirby Air Riders. There's a Hyrule Warriors game. I'm like, man, like I'm thinking like I don't think Pokemon. Pokemon's always a Friday before Thanksgiving. I don't think that's gonna move because Nintendo's Nintendo, and I know it's not a Pokemon company and Nintendo are different, but
Right.
I mean, they usually stick to like I've seen like fucking Nintendo put Mario 3D World out on the same day the PS4 came out, so
Yep.
like they don't care, and they also put Link Between Worlds out the same day too, so they don't care. So I wouldn't be shocked if like I'm expecting a Pokemon like we're gonna set our date, like we don't care, but like yeah, I'm looking at like everybody else though. It's like man, like I wouldn't be shocked like basically from like June to like October, it's just gonna be a fucking sprint of just a ton of games and like a lot of like I mean we're already seeing a bunch of like multiple pretty big games coming out in like the summer months, which we don't usually like. We're lucky to get like one or two pretty decent sized games in the summer months, and we're already looking from like basically Memorial Day on to like end of like October 2nd here, just like I mean 3-4 big games a month on top of a Switch 2 in there as well. So yeah, I don't know. I think 2025 is gonna be a pretty good year, but it's gonna be one of those things where a lot of shit's gonna get. It's gonna be almost kind of like it was in 2023, where like a lot of major games are just getting dropped on top of each other, and it's unfortunately some games are probably gonna get kind of lost in the shuffle because of that. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I don't know. Part of me, I just kind of want the Grand Theft Auto 6 thing. Like, I'm just ready for it to be over. I just want like either get a date or just like delay it already, because I'm just kind of like, man, like I'm just ready. I'm like, I don't know. I like not. I don't like. I'm no like. I'm not like a huge fan. I'm pretty like in the middle about GTA 6. I'm not like a gigantic fan. I'm not a hater either. But it's just like, man, I'm just ready for like. It's just like it's taking up a lot of gravity right now, and I'm ready for it not to do that anymore. But anyways, let's move on to some other news this week. Gable, there's been some updates here. There was an update. There's been some updates on the back end of the Persona 4 remake website. So, kind of giving some more ideas that maybe that potentially that there might be that Persona 4 remake might actually be happening now.
Well, honestly, this is kind of the first I'm actually hearing about this specific type of update, but it's like that wouldn't surprise me. But what is it exactly what they were saying about Tyler?
It's just like it's just there's like some updates on the back, some stuff going on the back end. There's some stuff being registered and everything, like the domain and stuff like that. And internally, the game there's a game named XRD792 that is believed to be the Persona 4 remake, and some people are more people thinking that maybe it'll be at the Microsoft showcase in June.
So, yeah, sounds like a summer announcement.
Yeah, let's hope so, because I love Persona 3 Reload, so I'd be happy to play that one.
Oh, you would love Persona 4. Let's just say that.
I don't know if it could be better than 3. 3 was awesome. Next up, though, here, this is like, we're just going to do these back to back. So Michael Bay is directing a video game movie based off the franchise Outrun.
Oh, okay. So Outrun, the car game.
Mm-hmm.
The old Sega game, right?
Yes.
Well, that's kind of surprising.
I guess so. I don't know. I mean, Until Dawn just had that movie come out like this week, and it has nothing to do with the actual plot of Until Dawn. So,
right.
I guess it doesn't matter. Also, Split Fiction is getting like the deal's been struck for that movie, and Sydney Sweeney is going to co-star in it.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and she has something to do with the Outrun movie. I think she's like producing it or something. I have no idea. I don't think she's starring in it, but she's like apparently going to be. I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. I more hope for the Split Fiction one, even though I bought the game and Gables hasn't played with me yet.
Oh, you know how things get busy around here.
Gables literally ripped the tendon out of his arm so he didn't have to play games with me. Yeah. The long rumored, leaked, whatever you want to call it, Oblivion remaster is finally out now. It's had over 4 million players already in the first few days playing it. And I think I had like over 200,000 people concurrently on Steam playing it. So it sounds like it's doing pretty well, and people are pretty happy with it. The reviews been pretty positive, and it seems like I've had a lot of friends that been really excited for this coming out, and have been absolutely just happy to replay it. And they've loved all the updates and changes they've done to the gameplay and everything like that, and the leveling and stuff like that. So it seems like pretty much everybody's pretty happy about it. So that's pretty
Well,
cool.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, that stealth drop the day of that announcement of that thing. I mean, that was huge.
Yeah.
Just hearing nothing but like positive stuff from people.
Yeah. So she's pretty happy about it. And then also, this is a couple days ago, so I've been trying to find some more information on this one. I don't know for sure if stuff has changed, but when the pre-orders went live in Japan for the Switch 2 for like the games stuff like that, all the physical copies of the games for Switch 2 for third-party games are actually just basically like they don't actually have the game on the card.
So it's basically either key card or a code in the box.
Yeah, it's a key card basically, all of them. Yeah,
Oh man, that's really disappointing.
except for Cyberpunk.
If this, well, except for Cyberpunk. I mean, Cyberpunk's like the only third-party game that we know of at this point where at launch for the Switch 2, it's every bit of the game on the card.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's gonna be the case for here in the United States. I'm assuming it's not the case. I'm assuming it's just gonna be the same everywhere. Yeah. I was reading a lot about it, and basically the main issue is just like the carts for the Switch 2 are way more expensive than the carts for the Switch, and also way more expensive than the like the Blu-ray disc that we have for PlayStation and Xbox. So
Yeah,
this is a
that
way to
does.
cut costs
Yeah,
basically. But
this is basically kind of sound like the whole issue that developers had with like developing games for the N64 because the carts were so expensive and the compact discs were cheaper alternative for
yeah, it's
PlayStation.
like 7 cents
That's
compared to
exactly what
like
it sounds like to
$4.
me.
Yeah. So probably gonna be the case where like I would bet the majority of third party games, especially games that are like on other platforms that are just being ported over to the Switch to or most likely be this to be the case for them. I don't know, but even some of some of the older games that are like just being ported over to this, like old like from previous like generations like well before like PS4 even and stuff like some of these things are like even like collections and stuff are just basically keys and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, take that for what it is, obviously. But I don't know. I guess like if you're planning on buying any third party games for the Switch 2 or whatever, maybe this will be the change of like whether or not you want to buy that thing or not for it, or just buy it elsewhere, or not buy it at all or whatever. But just want to give that heads up to people out there for that. But Gables, let's jump into what we've been
Hmm.
playing. Do you want me to go first?
Okay,
Or you want to go first, buddy?
I'll go first because mine's pretty brief and stuff. So this is the last initial update I'm going to give for that TMNT collection. I did end up finishing one more game from that initial collection, and that was TMNT 3 Radical Rescue, the freaking Metroidvania inspired TMNT game. I finally was able to get past the point of no return and stuff after like the fourth boss that I fought, and I managed to get to the point where I found where I could get to the Super Shredder for the final boss. So before I had completely explored everything, rescued every bit of turtle, rescued Splinter and stuff, faced off against like four separate bosses from obscure bosses, say like with Dirtbag and Scratch and stuff, and like freaking like some other freaking like mutants or something like that. And then going towards like the battle with Super Shredder, you get towards that final area. It's kind of like similar to how the game has been in general, to where you have random enemies that'll pop out, right? And each specific area and stuff like that's a little bit different. So you can go and get to like that initial boss stage that you need to beat the boss, collect the key, find the turtle like cell or something like that, unlock it, and then get their little special talents. Well, kind of the similar thing to where when I finally got to that last portion of the game, you go into the initial room, right? And it's one of the type of things that happens next that I did not like in terms of like this game. is you have a boss gauntlet before you face off against the final boss. In some video games, they do it fine. I mean, maybe the bosses are a little bit underpowered or something like that. Then you can beat them super quick before you get to the main boss. Or sometimes it can be incredibly hard and stuff like that, and you have to figure out how to beat these bosses super quick. Kind of like with another game that I had played like long ago, Castlevania Rondo of Blood, to where there's a stage that I have to face off against a boss gauntlet of like 6 or 7 bosses in a row in order to pass that stage. So you have to face every single boss that you have already beaten, and then on top of that, at least they give you the aspect to where after you beat one boss, you get a health replenishment to get back to full health. So every time I beat a boss, I collect the health power up, I save, and then I move on. Finally get the Super Shredder, and man, that boss was a pain in the ass. And the reason why it was in so much of a pain in the ass, it wasn't because of it being overtly difficult. It's because you have to be super precise in terms of dodging in this game. The biggest complaint I've had about this game is when you play against the bosses, you have to have like pixel perfect dodging ability in order to not get damaged. Because this is the type of game to where if you were playing as a kid and you're trying to beat this game, you would be dying to those bosses over and over again because you have to be split precise, like pixel perfect, jump over the boss at a specific time, and there's sometimes you can anticipate their attacks, but there are times where it's completely random in some parts when they're attacking. So I managed to finish up and beat Radical Rescue by eventually figuring out like Shredder's pattern right, and I beat his first stage. But then there's a final stage to where he starts becoming even more aggressive with his attacks. So what ended up being like a 4 boss rush and then like to a fifth, you basically face like 6 boss battles in a row with all of your turtle stuff. You share the same life bar and this and that, and pray that you don't get knocked out along the way because you have to start back all over again after doing that, which no, I'm not doing that. So, with that being stated, that is pretty much the last game I'm interested in playing right now for the TMNT like Cowabunga collection. Yeah, man, this collection was definitely fantastic. It did have its stinkers though, in terms of some of the some of the Game Boy like TMNT games, and also in terms of like some of the fighting games that they had. But it excels with like some great like classic arcade games, so like the TMNT arcade game, Turtles in Time. Obviously, like I think Radical Rescue is actually pretty decent, even though it can be having the difficulty spikes. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this. I mean, I've spent like over 30 hours just playing this initial collection, and I've gotten the most out of it. But yeah, it's time for me to move on, but not sure what else. But that's pretty much it. What have you been playing, Tyler?
Um, so I just started playing one game. I just started playing it today, so I haven't got a ton
Yeah.
of time into it. Maybe 7 or 8 hours or so, give or take, in there. But Gables, you ever like get into a game and you're a couple hours in, and you're like, this one's different.
Yeah.
Like this is special. This is gonna be an all timer. Uh, so I'm like 7 8 hours into Clair Obscur Expedition 33, and
Hmm.
this game is different. It is special. This, I mean, like obviously a lot of things go wrong. I'm super early in, whatever you want to say about it. Um, but like this game is setting up to be one of the greatest games of all time. That's how I feel about it right now. After, I
You're
know, like I
saying a
said,
tall thing, dude.
I know Gables, I know, but man, like, this is it. This is one of so far, at least for me, one of the best starts to a game ever, especially from a brand new IP. This is not like established thing. This is not something. This is not a sequel to something I'm super excited for. This isn't a studio that has a bunch of pedigree behind it, where it's like this game can be good. It could be special. It could be that. Like this is a game that like I was like, oh, when we saw it last year, I'm like, this game looks really cool. Looks interesting, but like
Hmm.
I don't know if it's gonna be for me. And then like seeing this stuff back in February, maybe it was January for the Xbox Direct we had, and I was like, okay, that really kind of turned me on it. And I'm like, okay, this game, I'm actually kind of looking forward to this. And just seeing more and more, I'm like, I'm getting really excited about this. And then I was talking to some people that are like playing a review and like not really talking to it, but like just getting some like little subtle hints and like kind of like tying some things together a little bit. Um, Reading between the lines, I'm like, this thing might actually be really, really good. And then obviously the review scores came out. I think it's like a 93, maybe it's 91 now, an Open Critic. And then yeah, just starting to play it. Like, man, from the jump of just getting to the main menu and the music that hits, I just went, oh my god! I just like I leaned back and I put my hand. I'm like, oh my god, really? They're like, oh, this is fantastic. Like, and then like already like the art design and like the visuals and everything like that's the style they're going for. I'm like, I love that from like the very 10 seconds in the first trailer we saw last year. But I was like, man, this is like visually looks stunning to me, but I don't know if it's gonna be a game I want to play. And then just that prologue, to this game, and I'm not gonna spoil too much. But basically, if you know you've been living under a Dwayne Johnson somewhere, basically the story of this one is there's like something called the Patrus. It's like this giant creature in like an island way out from like something happened 6 7 years ago where like it's something like it's basically everything sounds like it got split up, and like things got destroyed. And like you're like the city you're living in is like basically this like little on like it's a little island now instead of like being part of like a country basically. And every year on the same day it comes in and the number goes down, and anybody like so at the beginning of the game it's at 34, and anybody at that age or over dies, and like they like basically they literally just turn to dust and they float away. And it's the same day every year. So as the game starts, like it's that day, and they every year they throw a festival, basically, and they give the people that are about to die flowers, and they go to like the harbor and they have this big send off, and just the build up to all of that, and just like seeing like the effects and like the conversations. You can go around, you can talk to people, and just like are hearing like the conversations in the background, like just like little conversations they have, like really like oh my god, like it's like just devastating and sad, and like talking about like they have all these like these flowers just sitting there because there's not enough people anymore to give all these flowers to, like that they give out to people. Like there's like the population's getting so small, and like just the devastation you see of like when the Patriots comes up and just changes the number, and all that, and just like all the things that happen. All the, like I'm trying to be vague here because that prologue is phenomenal. I don't want to spoil too much, but just like what happens, and like there's like a conversation that happens where like this lady gets mad at one person that's about to die because they didn't have children, and it's just like, why would I want to bring my kid into this? It's like, well, we also, but like there's also this conversation of like you got to repopulate and keep the humans going, but also it's like, is it wrong to bring people into this, especially as that number gets lower and lower? Like you have a kid now, that kid's going, like that person's not going to go past 16 years old, 17 years old, and like they have like some jokes in there where like the character, the main character Gustav, I believe he's like 32, 31, 32, and they keep making jokes about him being the old man, and it's just, but it's like that's ridiculous. But in this world, like he is an old man. Like that is like they are the oldest people these are the oldest they will ever be, the oldest person they will ever see, because I'm only gonna go down. And then like just the whole setup to like basically every year they send an expedition of people out. They get people to sign up for it. It's usually people that are like, it's their last year, instead of just sitting around waiting to die. They go to the island to try to like stop this whole thing from happening. But they've done 67 of them or whatever, and no one's ever come back. So like they don't know what happened to those people. They don't know, like, are they dead? Are they alive? Like, well, you assume they're dead because the number goes down.
Yeah.
But basically they have no idea what happens to them once they leave Luminous or something like that, I think is the name of the town. Like once they leave there, no one's ever come back. And then when you get there, it's fucking anyways, it's amazing. But it's just like once you get there, it's just, man. I don't know. This is hard. I don't want to spoil anything, but like it's so cool. Like once you get there, and you just like start to like one of the cool things you can find like these journals of like these past expeditions, and you can find out like what happened to them and like how they failed and how they all died. Like learning all that, like reading like usually I don't like read, like it's very rare in games where like I actually am interested in like the lore, like get into like the Duffy of like reading all the letters you find throughout the game and stuff like that. Usually I'll pick them up if I see them, but I don't really typically care to read them. And this one I'm like, I'm fascinated by this. I'm like, I want to know like what happened here. And some of them are like kind of like comedic in a way, like they failed, and some are just like very sad and stuff like that. But anyways, like, I mean, obviously on top of the music is phenomenal. Like some of the, I mean, immediately like just some of the greatest video game music of all time, right a fucking way, immediately. And it's like it's not just like 2 or 3 different soundtracks. Like there's so many different like type of battle themes for this. And I'm like, I just keep over and over again. Like I put my hand, which is like, oh my god. Like I don't even want to like. Normally these type of games I'll go around like I'll grind and I'll just listen to podcasts while I grind. I won't even listen to podcasts. I just want to hear the music because I keep hearing new type of music and it's all phenomenal. It's like and it's different styles. It's not just like they're like coming at you with different styles, like different like the boss battle themes are amazing. Like I remember like last year like the metaphor Fantasio theme was the battle theme was like, oh my, like this is the battle theme they went hard for it. And like this game is like every theme they went hard for, and it's like brilliant. But anyways, like another thing that sets it apart is like not only like the world building and the lore, and like once you get to the characters and the story, like you have Loon and Male, I think is how you say her name. Or like the two characters. There's more characters you find along the way, but I have 3 right now. But like the combat is just amazing and it's so fun. Like they found a great way of like they said they were inspired by like the old school Final Fantasy and Persona games, like modern day Persona and old school Final Fantasy. But they found a way to like incorporate all that into like modern day like JRPG gaming, like what you want nowadays, but also incorporate Dark Souls mechanics to it as well. As far as like, so you have like you know, instead of having like you have to go and buy potions and revives and all that, like you can are like healing your party, like instead of going like worrying about buying those things, you basically have like flask basically. And like once every time you go to you find flags, like the version of the bonfires in this game, and so at first I was scared to use them because I don't want to use them because I don't have a lot here. And then to come to find out, they replenish every time you go to like the new bonfire, the new flag in this game. So like, and then along the way you can find collectibles that will like increase over like how many potions and stuff like you have along throughout the game, so you have more that you can have, which is great. But and then obviously when you go to like a flag and you rest at it, it brings back all the other enemies. So like, but they have found a great way of incorporating all these different like style mechanics and like melding them well into like their game. Like you see a lot of games try this where it's like we want to take all these different cool things, like, but they don't like the other games do, but they try like we're gonna put it into our game together, but they don't actually like the pieces don't go together well, and they just kind of feel like a bunch of different things that were just kind of like we just stuck, we just like put on top of each other instead of like forming together and make this nice package. But like the combat is so good and it's phenomenal. Where like it's active time, it's like a more of an active time battle where like it's kind of like a Mario RPG in a sense where like if you could time it right, like there are like timers like where you can like every like you have like different abilities you get with the skill tree, and they all have like different, like you have to hit the button at the right time to like you can do max damage or do extra damage, or you can like continue along the combo. All the enemies like they like when they attack they can like there's like a dodge you can do, and if you dodge just right, you build up your AP points, which you can then use more special abilities.
Right.
And then there's like, or you can also parry, which parrying is great because like if you dodge, obviously they miss the attack. But if you parry attack, the parry window is a lot smaller. It's a lot harder to do. But instead you do like a major, like a big time counter attack. It does a ton of damage, but also it's about high risk, high reward. And there's also like a jump one where sometimes they'll do like a ground slam and you got to jump it and you can do like a counter attack that way. But like every enemy is different. Like the timing is like, there's no like thing that pops up to like, oh, hit it in this window. It's just like, you got to watch the movement, and like hit, like you got to learn the counter of it, which is great too, because like along the way you can find like, there are like in like the world and like some of the places you go to, or like it'll tell you like, hey, like when you go like, cause like they actually have an open world, like an old school like JRPG like you'd play on like NES or like back in like Game Boy Advance days, like when I used to play Golden Sun, there's actually an open world to this game. And there's like areas you can go to, and you can find enemies that are like way stronger, like way like the one hit, they'll kill you in one hit. But if like you can fight them now and actually realistically beat them if you can just dodge them over and over again. Like I had a couple fights where like I'm fighting these enemies that would like hit me in like two hits and like kill me in 2 hits, but like I like kind of learned their pattern, and like it's not like they do like the same attack every time. Like they'll come up to you and they'll like sometimes they do like this long swing thing. You gotta like, or sometimes like a quick like quick punch to the ground, or like they'll like do like a big like a almost like a butt slam thing, and like but they kind of come at you the same way. You got to quickly figure it out, so you got to figure out the timing. And it's like there's multiple like fights I've done where like I had no reason to like win these fights, but it's just because like I was able to like figure out the timing, almost like I guess like a Dark Souls type of in a way of like like a Souls like game of like figuring out the pattern. And I was able to beat these guys just because of I learned the timing, and like it was great because I got like I got a ton of experience points and items that kind of helped me out along the way. And there's like yeah, like anyways, I'm super early in the game, 6-7 hours in. I'm decently way through like Act 2 right now, but like it is, man, it's so good. I am in love with this game, and like it is funny too. Like you meet these like characters. I think they're called like the Gestrels is what they're called, and there's these weird creatures, and they have like they said they have like paint. They basically like their heads look like paintbrushes, and like they don't speak like your language, but you can understand them. There's like subtitles and stuff. And they are, I made it to their village, and I had to go around and talk to every single one of them because they are just so fucking funny. Like they don't like understand like they don't like understand like like a phrase like I said whatever floats your boat. And it's like I don't have a boat, It's like or like they'll just like they like these two guys are like talking about like trading cards and stuff like that. Trading like have like trading cards, and like they're like, do you want to have a nice discussion about this with no like without any harm? It's like, yes, I would love to have a nice conversation about this. And it's just like little dumb conversations they have with you, like or like you can listen to them have conversations. And like one guy's like, do you want to dance? And he just starts doing he starts break dancing in front of me and it's like spinning on his head and shit. I'm like, oh my god, I started like laughing out loud. It's like this game does so many like goofy shit, but it's so well done that they can just kind of do this goofy shit and I'm along for the ride. Like I am blown away by this game. Like I'm someone that grew up like in my early days, like really up until like the 360 era, like all I played was sports games and JRPGs, and like Smash Brothers. That was in Mario Kart. That was it. Those were like the games I played. If it wasn't Madden or like a Mario sports game, I played JRPGs. That's all I ever played. And like yeah, this is like taking me back to that, but like in a modern day era, like in like with also on top of that, beautiful music and a amazing story so far with characters, and the art design is just drop dead gorgeous. I just love looking at this game. I love looking at it. It is so beautiful how well this game is done. But man, obviously like it can get way worse from here on out. I don't know, but Gables, I'm telling you right, if this game continues to keep at this pace, this will be like one of my favorite games ever made. Like that's nice. Like I'm this early on. I was like, I made it to the prologue and I'm like, holy shit, this might be my game of the year already, like tied in, like locked in right now. But yeah, anyways, take it with a grain of salt because like I said, I'm still in Act 2, but I cannot like I've just like I had to stop doing it. I stopped playing this game to do this podcast, and I'm like just thinking about what I want to like. I'm just like I keep thinking about going back and play this game. Like, do I just I should go to bed. It's 1:00 in the morning, but I'm like, man, maybe I should just keep playing this game. But anyways, check this game out. It's on Game Pass, and it sold 500,000 copies in the first day, so that's awesome as well. So, I'm hoping this game is as big as it says sales wise as it is from a review standpoint, because yeah, it deserves it. But I think it's gonna wrap it up for everybody this week. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you like the show, like what we do, please check us out on Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Like, subscribe, ring the bells, 5-star reviews. Tell your, if like I said last week, if a relative dies, go into your YouTube account, subscribe to us, click a couple likes. If they don't have an account, make an account, subscribe to us, and then, then call the cops and let them know that, hey, grandma's dead. But anyways, I was your host. I was Tyler.
And I've been Colonel Gables. So until next time, everyone, thank you for listening to another fun-filled episode of the Drunk-Nerds podcast.
Hey, Gables.
Yeah.
Too sweet?
Too sweet, man.
Bye, guys.
See ya.